cram a whole bunch down you again as we're going to get back into classes next week. So it'll be a fairly light week. Definitely focus on your Mind Tap, guys. If you have Mind Tap chapters and things left, please focus some hours in Mind Tap. If you're waiting on assignments, then reach out to us and we can assign you something. But all right, Miss Tia, take it away.
Okie dokie. So we've been talking about some business stuff lately. We were talking about, I just want to kind of do a little recap and review a little bit. Is there some things that you guys have learned over the past few weeks of these that may stand out to you that you want to maybe talk about as far as your servicing, your retail rebooking, referrals, anything along those lines that have stood out to you or that you feel that you've learned over the course of this?
Don't buy your makeup where you buy your oil.
Hello.
I love that one.
Yes, do not, or your hair products for that matter. Anyone else? Am I gonna have to go around one by one? Is everybody awake today? Have I just been doing this in vain? Is nobody learning anything? All right, so let's go around. I'm gonna go around and ask, what are some of the things that you've been learning in our Monday lessons? Because I'm sure everyone's been taking notes. You will have some worksheets to do today to kind of back up what you've been learning over this session. And I want to kind of make sure that you guys have some concepts down before we move on. I need everybody to understand the importance of these lessons and the fact that I hope that I'm just not sitting up here talking to you guys. This is how you're going to make your money. If you're not paying attention to these lessons that I'm teaching you on Monday mornings, then you'll probably be broke. So I need you to take these classes seriously. Class kind of works on a 50-50 basis. I bring half, well, I bring more than half, but I need to have feedback from you guys so that I know that you're understanding concepts. Because when I ask you in a couple of weeks or like right now, tell me some things that you've learned or if I incorporated into a daily thing that we're doing and you're blank, then you kind of wasting your money. So I want to make sure that everybody is paying attention in these classes and that you can reiterate to me some of the things that I've been talking to you about, because it's been about 3-4 classes, so about a month now that we've been going over these. And so I have one person responding. Could I have any other responses on what you feel has been important in these weeks? Miss Brittany, I see your hand.
Sorry, it took me a minute to unmute the mic. But more so that like client and business relations are personal. You kind of can control how much like clientele you bring through the door and how much of it you retain.
Yes, absolutely. Miss Bailey, I saw your hand flick up.
I feel that something I really kind of took in was that you don't need to share everything with your client, because like I know working with people, they do kind of dig and like want to try to know more, and like they want you to give them that gossip, but like don't just kind of move the conversation somewhere else. Or especially whenever you guys were talking about how, I think it was actually Miss Haley was talking about how a client would bring up politics, just kind of move the conversation somewhere else.
Yeah, religion and politics a lot of times are places that you want to avoid going into. Yeah, that can definitely, because it may not be, maybe you are talking to somebody from your church, but what if you have somebody next to you who doesn't have the same belief as you, and they're having some problems with that. Okay, I see some more hands. Let's see, Teresa, I saw you, and then Miss D, I'm coming to you after Miss Teresa.
Mine's probably been some of the organization and the discipline with it all. 'Cause like I have Charlie here at home, plus I have the household here at home, and trying to work it all in together. Plus being at home and being on the Zoom class, and even my own my own space, my table and stuff. It's like sometimes it's so cluttered that it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We got to take a moment to get this cleared off because I need to be able to do this and this and this on it, or work with it, or,
Right.
do our state board stuff, things like that, to be able to.
How to organize your space a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Plus, even just meals, getting meals done and the class done. And so mine's probably more the organization and the discipline of keeping myself more on getting all of it.
Yes,
A little space for everything to be completed.
absolutely. So you don't get overwhelmed. Miss D.
So, probably the part that I've, related to the most and enjoyed was the 20% of stylists make 8% of the money. But then, that's the nice statement to say. But then I love that you also kind of went down ways that a person can learn to be in that top 20% in terms of retailing and rebooking, and then avoiding the pitfalls, of how you fall into that 80%. So that was something that I really enjoyed.
Thank you for that. Anybody else? I have a couple of pages that I'm okay, Nikki, I saw your hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna go along with D, because that's what I had in mind on the 80-20. Just recognizing your self-awareness with your strengths and your weaknesses. No matter what weakness you have, you can always turn it into a strength. And your attitude, your actions, and being money self-smart, and just all that was really good to hear.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you for those, ladies. Anybody else on here that I might have missed? I don't want to miss you.
I learned that I learned more about rebooking.
Okay.
Because I struggle with that, not feeling like I'm being pushy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned.
So just knowing that that's part of a conversation and not exactly being pushy, but that's how you ensure that you have money coming in. And that is by making sure that you rebook.
Yeah.
Always offer them, guys. Don't forget that you can offer them to book months in advance, so they don't have to worry about it, If that's somebody that they really enjoyed your service, you get to the end of their service and they start getting excited about it. That's when you hop in like, hey, you want to go ahead and lock this spot in? I can lock it in for as long as you want. We can go month by month. We can do 2-3 months in advance if you want. Then you don't ever have to worry about not being able to get in here with me. It's been getting so tight lately that I want to make sure, all of my regulars are getting in here. And you can kind of have that type of conversation with them too. Then if they have to reschedule later on down the line, then they can. Otherwise, you have them locked in. So don't forget that you have that to offer. Anyone else before we move on to a little bit more review? All right. So we had talked a little bit about the 20 behaviors versus 80 behaviors. I believe it was Steve was talking about how attitudes and behavior determine your paycheck. Those were some points that I had written down as well. If you come into your day with a terrible attitude and behaviors that aren't too professional, you're hurting your own self. You're hurting your paycheck. If you remain closed-minded, you're not willing to learn new skills, you feel like you're just fine, you know what you need to know, you know enough, then how are you going to make more money? How are you going to stay on top of the group? You're going to be pretty basic. I think that's the word I want to use. So your attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, those go into determining your paycheck. If you stay open-minded, you come into things positively, you're not self-defeating before you've even started, then you're going to be more successful than somebody who comes into it with a negative mind frame, like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I've never practiced that skill before. I don't think I can do it, you know. Versus somebody who has the attitude of, oh, okay, I can conquer this just like I do anything else, you know. It's all in your mind frame. How you step into it will determine, you know, how you step out of it. And then with your confidence, it'll get you more tips. It'll get you more referrals. And they'll definitely want to come back and see you, you know. So make sure that your attitude is right. Behaviors are in check, that you were displaying the behaviors that you were taught, as far as being positive, as far as being clean, as far as not cross-contaminating and creating an environment for your client to want to come back to. Any questions over any of that? All right, I just wrote some points down because I want to make sure that we are understanding and we're moving through these lessons and kind of getting out of it what, you know, some of the important parts are. All right, so the way you think, your outlook will determine whether you have a job or a career. So we talked a little bit about jobs versus careers. This is the time right now, a lot of you are transitioning into a career. Some of us are old enough that by the time we got to this career path, we may have had a career before this. My career was in criminal justice. I worked in criminal justice and all types of things in that realm. So this was my second career. Should have been my first, but ended up being my second. And a lot of us are in that situation. So there's more than one career. This career can take you on to a different path of a career. I didn't come into cosmetology to become a teacher. It just kind of came natural to me. I like telling folks what to do. So my teachers saw that, and they saw that I knew what I was talking about. And so that's what I'm trying to get you guys to the point of, even if you don't want to become a teacher, you're going to be smart enough to be a teacher. You know, that's what I want you guys to have in your belt, so that by the time you leave from school, you're smart as a teacher, but then you're adding all these skills onto it to make and take everybody's money. So that's what I want to train you guys to become. You know, just keep your mind open to suggestions. Sometimes teachers see things in you that you don't see in yourself, myself included. Like I said, I was never going to be a teacher, you know, until I had teachers just pushing the crap out of me. Lori Lee, I don't know if you're on this call, but you had people pushing the crap out of you to become something that you didn't think that you had in you, you know. So be open-minded. Don't close your mind off to opportunity, because you never know what path you have, and it may be something totally different than what you think. So keep your mind open to your career growing in different directions. You know, as long as you're not looking at it as a job, if you look at that thing that somebody's trying to suggest to you as a job and it doesn't sound like fun to you, and it's not something that you like, and it's not bringing the money in that you want, then don't take it. You know, don't do that. Even if you feel it's a pay cut, as long as you're doing something that's bringing you joy and less stress, then that's the whole goal, okay? Let's see. And then when you have a job, you're living just over broke. You know, your spirit's broke, your pockets are broke, your shoes is probably broke, everything's broke. But when you have a career, you're having fun. You get to go to work. You change your vocabulary. Your day gets better. You don't really have bad days, you know, at work, because you're doing something that you love. You may have things or part of your days that get on your nerves, but imagine just being in a job that you hated every day, that you have to get up to, and, you know, going to make minimal money for maximum slave work. You know what I'm saying? So it's all in your outlook and how you look at something. Do you get to go to work, or do you have to go to work? I get to go to work. You know what I mean? I love working with you guys. Even though my face may look like something else, I love my job. I love doing what I do. And it's very peaceful to me, and it brings me a lot of joy. So if your career path isn't that for you, then you probably have a job. Okay, so keep working at it. Communicate with us if you feel like you're not in your career, in the career that you're supposed to be in. See what we can do to help. When you change your thinking, you can change your life, you know. So it's all about how you think about something. So make sure that you're entering into things positively first, you know. Give it the opportunity to get bad. If it's not bad, don't approach it like it is, you know. Okay, let's see. Money guest and self-smart. We kind of talked about that briefly. I'm going to just go over what those things are for you again, just in case you missed it. Money smart is the ability to achieve dramatic and sudden jumps in your personal income because you're improving your relationship with money and how you handle it. Top 20s are money smart. They are highly skillful at managing their appointment book in ways that will allow them to make the most out of their money in the quickest period of time with the least amount of stress. So the beginnings of being money smart, to me, in my opinion, would be knowing how long it takes for you to do the particular services that you offer. Yes, Miss D.
I'm sorry, could we all just mute ourselves, please? There's a lot of background noise and I'm having a really hard time hearing you.
Okay.
Would that be okay?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Okay. I hope that helps. All right. Okay, so let me go back over that again just in case you missed. Being money smart is the ability to achieve dramatic and sudden jumps in your personal income by improving your relationship with money and how you handle it. Top 20s are money smart. They're highly skillful at managing their appointment book in ways that allow them to make the most amount of money in the quickest period of time with the least amount of stress. So what I was saying to that point was the beginnings of being money smart, in my opinion, well, all of this really is to know how long it takes you to do particular services. So when we get back into the classroom, one of the things I'm going to be asking you to be mindful of is what time you started your service, your processing time, and your end time of services. So it's always going to be a good idea if you have a watch to put that thing on. If you're a watch owner, it will save your life in the salon. If you do not have a watch, I would behoove you to go and get one. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Walmart has them all day. Dollar Tree probably has some. But just so that you're mindful of time and that you have a way of knowing how long it takes you. When I got to Beauty Brands, that was the first thing. They sat me down and did my orientation paperwork, and then they gave me a list of all the services that Beauty Brands does. My job was to write an amount of time next to whatever service I wanted to offer someone. So if I wanted to offer relaxers, I had to put down an hour and a half. If I didn't want to offer pedicures, then I wouldn't put any time down. So they let you pick and choose what services you offered to somebody, but you had to know how fast you were at getting those services done because somebody else is setting up your books for you. So if you are setting your own books, I could have my own clients too, but if they're walk-ins or, anything like that, they know how to plug them in for me because they know how long it takes for me to do a particular service. So I don't care how long it takes you. That's not what I'm looking for, guys. I'm not worried about how long it takes you until you get to the last half of your school time. You should be consistently trying to get faster at your services. Being faster does not also mean sloppy. Being fast and efficient is what's going to get you some money. And then knowing how long it takes you is going to also be what helps you to get money. If you know, hairstylists, that you can do a full head of highlights and it takes you an hour and a half, then you have to process it for another, maybe 20, 30 minutes after your last full, something like that. And then you have to tone. Toning takes like up to 20 minutes. Then you have to blow dry. That can take another 20 minutes. So you know how to set your day up. You know, it's going to take me 3 hours per person, plus that's my cleaning time. So every 3 hours I could be doing a service, you know, a highlighting service. Maybe while that processing time's going through, you've scheduled yourself a couple of eyebrow waxes, because eyebrow waxes only take maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. You have a 20 to 30 minute processing time, so you can book all these clients. If you're a nail person, you know that it takes, I don't know what, about 30 minutes for you to do a gel. And when you get into a salon, it could be 30 to 40 bucks. You can make 30 to 40 bucks every 30 minutes if you set your books right. You know, that's $80 to $100 an hour that you're going to be getting, plus tips. You know what I'm saying? So if you know what you can do, then you can set your day up. If you're doing faces, if you know it takes you 30 minutes to do a light bead on somebody, if you're doing makeup, you can do that in the midst of you doing a facial on somebody, because you have or a body wrap, maybe. Whatever your processing time is, if you do have a processing time, then you could be scheduling other appointments within that processing time to make your dollars per ticket go up, or your dollars per hour, I guess is what that would come out to. Does that make sense to you guys? So when we get into the salon, once we get back to the school, I'm going to be like, well, what time did you start that? Cos or Estes, if you put a treatment on somebody, or even the nail people, if you're doing a spa pedicure, you have to put a mask on somebody. How long has that thing been sitting? Did you pay attention to after your application got done to starting your time? You know, I'm not going to be able to keep up with all of your guys' time frame, so it's going to be your job. Even if you have to keep a little piece of paper right there to write down what times those things are. You're in school, guys. You can have pencils and papers all over the place, okay? So don't feel bad about having to have some kind of cheat sheet so that you know what time your process is started, because your client's going to much rather you know that than to overprocess something and fry their hair, their face, their hands, whatever the case is, okay? You guys are in school, so please act like you're in school. Don't try to act like you're a professional already, because that's where problems come in. That's where discoveries happen. And so just to make yourself feel more secure about what you're doing, set that timer, write that time down, whatever it is that you need to do to be able to know how fast, what your processing times are, and things of that nature. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so that's going to be part of being aware of being money smart. Get smart, same respect. It goes into all of these same things, okay? Is the ability to build great guest relationships by knowing how to communicate effectively. You're talking to your client. You're making them feel like a guest. You know, they're a guest of yours. You're trying to create an environment that they're going to want to come back to. You're trying to create an environment that they want to bring their friends into. You want their whole family, all of their friends to come to you. So you have to be guest smart. You have to play to each guest to their own abilities. You know, you may have some people that are bankers. You may have an at-home mother. You may have a teenage, mother. You may have a skater. You might have a hippie. You have to be able to relate to everyone at their own level. You have something in common with everybody. As crazy as that sounds, as crazy as they may look, you have something in common with them. So you have to create that environment that, you know, we have a common, this girl loves tomatoes just as much as I do. So, you know, we have that thing to talk about all the time. You know what I'm saying? It can be specific to whatever that person is. So create those relationships with people. You'll have generations. We talk about generations of clients, you know. You have built-in clients because you've known these people all your life. So those are easy conversations to have. Get some of those people in your chair. Be guest smart. You know, people that you know are going to come to you. People who've been saying, dang, I can't wait till you get in school so you can do X, Y, and Z. You do your nails so pretty, I just can't. Call those people. Girl, guess what? I got my license. Guess who's in school? Guess who's finally doing it? That's being guest smart. Those people are already going to come to you. They already know you. They've known you since you were 6. They're going to give you a chance. So when they give you that chance, you have to keep them. You have to do what it takes to keep them. And then they need to be bringing all their friends. You know, one of the best things they can do is have a Saturday girls' day, or a Saturday if it's all your homeboys or something. Get them all together, teach them the importance of getting pedicures so they're not scratching their women up overnight. You know, sell those gift cards to people if they haven't ever been to you. You know, push those gift cards to get new clients in your chair. You know, things of that nature. Be guest smart. How do you get new people in your chair? People equal money. People equal trips. People equal getting your kids everything they want off of their Christmas list. You can't do that without people. And if you're a horrible person, nobody's going to want to sit in your chair, flat out. Okay? So make sure that you're working on those guest relationships, building and bonding with your clients, finding something common with them. Any questions over being guest smart? You want them to bring you people. So if you're being terrible to that one person, how are they going to bring you more people, Miss Nikki?
I think one thing that would help me, like when we do get back into school, is maybe have a grouchy client and knowing how to handle that.
Yes.
Like someone in, like us knowing that it's going to happen, you know, we're going to come across that, but just knowing how to handle it. And if maybe some of you instructors could like do that while we give you a pedicure or a manicure or something.
I can definitely.
That might help, knowing how to. Okay. I mean, we don't like that, but I know it's going to happen.
I can be real nasty.
I know.
How to handle the Karens.
How do you handle parents of, yes, that's a great one.
Yeah, how to handle the Karens of the world.
Absolutely. You're stupid. You said the Karens. I thought you said the parents. But handling parents and Karens are also 2 things that we have to, yes, absolutely. We will have lots of scenarios, and that's going to be one of the good things about getting back together is we have a lot of this book out of the way. A lot of the book now is going to be reviewed, so we can spend a lot of time on the personal aspect of treating our clients, which a lot of this will come into play with. And we'll talk a little bit about practicing all of these skills. You know, a lot of us have to be face-to-face with each other to be able to get some of these things down. I could do some scenarios over this, Marco, I mean, whatever this thing is, Zoom. But, you know, body language is part of it. You know, us having that communication and seeing what my hands on my hips are doing and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit different when so we'll definitely play a lot of situations out in person, and you get to see how we handle different clients. You get crazy people. I'm going to have all types of people. I mean, there's going to be all types of people coming to us because they're going to be like woolly mammoths since they've been on break. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely. We'll do some of that. All right. Self-smart. Being self-smart is about having a great relationship with yourself. Having the personal awareness and the skill to maintain a great attitude and radiate positive energy. Top 20s are self-smart. They're truly skillful at maintaining positive attitudes and overcoming negative attitudes that cause failure. Top 20s are self-confident, self-motivated, and self-disciplined. Do I have to tell you what to do all the time, or do you know that there's stuff that needs to be done and you just go do it? You know, after you've learned what your goals, what your objectives are, do I have to still tell you, okay, come on, let's get up and go file some nails? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's grown. Everybody's paying good money to be at this school. So make sure that you're being self-aware, that you are self-motivating, that, you know, I get to catch you already doing something. I didn't have to tell you, okay, so everybody know what they're doing today? Everybody says yes, and then I walk away and come back 5 minutes later, and you're still sitting there like, excuse me, why is everybody else on this side of the building and you're over here by yourself? What are we doing? You know, so it's things like that. You know, if you're a person like that, then I can kind of tell that you're not going to make as much money when you get to the salon, because somebody has to tell you to go get money. Who? You don't have to tell me twice. If you present some money to me, I'm going to get it. You understand? You're not going to have to tell me, hey, there's clients over there. You kidding? I'm telling you, hey, some clients just walked in the door. What we doing? Who they belong to? Is it mine? Can I have them? You know, that's the type of attitude. Go get her. Go get it. You know, go get the money. Don't be sitting around waiting on it to come to you because you're going to be broke. Everybody understand that? Okay. I'm going to keep moving. All right. Let me make sure. Okay, you have to bring your own willingness. You have to get outside of your comfort zone, be willing to learn and be corrected. You guys do understand that you're in school. If a lot of you guys have your own, a lot of you guys have been practicing, and it shows a lot of these skills since you were younger, or you've been practicing since before you got in school. I was the same way. I started doing my own nails when I was 14. So my skills were a little bit above par once I got to hair school at 30. You know what I'm saying? So your willingness to be open-minded and to be taught. I had to be taught some finishing skills that made my nails a little bit better once I was doing people's nails. You know, nobody ever taught me to lay balls. You know what I'm saying? I used to just put a freaking form on my fingernail and just start doing what I felt like looked like a nail. You know, nobody ever taught me the skills of laying balls and, you know, to reduce the amount of filing that you have. I kind of taught myself that, you know what I mean? You have to bring your own willingness to be taught. You have to keep your mind open. I did not know I knew how to do nails. You know, I could make it appear like a professional nail, but I still had to be willing to learn what a hyponychium and eponychium and matrix, and I didn't know all that stuff, you know. So if I would have closed my mind to everything, I wouldn't have been able to teach you guys, you know. I'm always willing to learn from you guys. You know, I've been teaching for almost 10 years, and I can still learn from my students. You know, I still like to learn from my students. Some of you guys do some deep, heavy research into stuff that I would never have time to do. I love learning that stuff from you guys. You know, I'm not a teacher who claims to know everything in the doggone world. I know what I've been teaching for almost 10 years, you know, but new information comes about all the time, you know, so I'm not the type of person who is so close-minded to think, you know, I know everything. Definitely not. And once you guys know me for a while, you know that I'm really down to earth. You know, some people think I'm not easy to talk to, but I am. It's just, you know, making sure that you're always open to learn. You can learn from anybody. If you can't learn from anybody, it's something wrong with you, you know. Don't close your mind to when we bring in different teachers. That was something that we found deficient at a lot of schools that we taught at, was that you had to learn this one way and that was all there was to it. No. You know, there may be techniques and things that I do that's a little bit different from Miss Danica, that's a little bit different from Miss Melissa. Haley and I definitely do our facials different because I'm a cosmetologist. She's a esthetician, you know, so her ways of doing things are a bit different than mine, but that doesn't mean that either one of us are wrong, you know. So make sure that you're keeping your mind open to different types of learning, you know. Miss Dahl teaches in a different way than I do. I teach in a different way than Miss Melissa does. But we all have something to bring to the table. So make sure that when you're going to different classes, that you're opening your mind. They may teach it a little bit different from the way that I taught you, and you understood me very well, but open your mind to learning it that way. You know, you may have somebody down the line that you have to teach it to, and that person's way of teaching it might click for that person a little bit more. Always keep your mind open. Don't be stubborn to learning. It robs you of your opportunity for a greater income. When someone offers you an opportunity to learn behind the chair, step up, and then you can jump ahead because of that. Don't close your mind off. If I'm coming up and offering you a ticket, and it's a service you've never done before, guess what? That's what you're in school for. That's why you're here. You're here to do stuff that you've never done before. And know that I understand that you've never done this before, and that is why I'm asking you to do it. How will you ever learn if you don't do it? The people who come into our building to have services done sign a piece of paper that says that they know they're having services done by students. So don't let any service intimidate you. If you don't do it in front of us so that we can correct you or not, then how will you ever know how to do that service? Then that's money that you're letting walk away from you. If you walk into the salon only knowing how to do the 2 skills that you walked in already knowing how to do, then what was the point of coming to school? You know, so everybody understand that part. Try not to be stubborn. When you're saying I'm fine, and you know, is there anything I can help you with? No, I'm fine. Freaked out, in debt, not making enough, and emotionally stressed is what FINE stands for. Freaked out, the I is in debt, the N is not making enough, and E is emotionally stressed. So please let us help you get through this time so that you can make all the money and I can have a good success story to brag to all my students about with you guys. All right, so a little summary. How fast we grow in our income will always be determined by what path we're on. So the 80s and the 20s, there's growth for the 80s. The problem is it occurs slowly and in small amounts over long times, but on the other hand, growth in the top 20 path happens more quickly in larger amounts over shorter periods of time. Becoming a top 20 stylist begins with developing a new set of attitude, and starting with our attitude of willingness to become a top 20. It requires us to demonstrate an attitude of willingness in keeping the following 3 promises. Promise number 1, believe in yourself, your own potential to be a top 20, and in your own worthiness to have a great career. Number 2, keep an open mind by receiving new ideas. Number 3, immediately put into practice the things that you're learning. So if you have all this knowledge and you sit on it, you're going to forget it. If I teach you how to hold a shear and you don't automatically start doing your cutting work, you're not going to remember, okay? If I teach you a massage technique, anybody, and you're not practicing those massage techniques and you lose it, I just wasted my time. You know, so you have to start practicing. These skills that I'm teaching you right now don't have to do with just your clients. This can be how you relate to your parents. This can be how you relate to your spouse. It can be how you relate to your dog. It can be how you relate to anybody. You can practice these skills anywhere you are in life. It doesn't have to wait for you to come to school, you know. Practice some of these skills while you can. All righty. Do you guys have any questiones for me about anything that we've gone over today? I'm going to turn it loose a little bit early today because I have some worksheets that kind of coordinate with all these skills I've just talked about this morning, and some of the ones that we had talked about previously as far as your service, retail, rebooking, referrals, and all of those types of things. So I'm going to put those on the EDBA Everybody page so that you guys can go and look at those. And I just want to make sure that you are you're retaining some of this stuff. So I've kind of broke it down into each area as far as some of these worksheets so that you understand how it pertains to service, retail, repeat, referrals, and then your summaries, okay? So I'll be posting some stuff on there for you for that. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. What questions do you have for me before we get off of here? Brittany?
I was wondering, would we be able to do like a lesson on like the importance of how like social media marketing now can like help you build your book without you even like being there?
Sure, we can talk about that. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. We had a whole freaking thing about, yeah, we can do that. No problem. Thank you for that request. Anybody else have anything for me? All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Get off my line. Let's see. Who do I have? Shamaya, come get your bag, girl. Send me a message or something. All right. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thank you.